Elon Musk has bought 9.2% of Twitter, now being the largest shareholder of Twitter. So I think this is interesting. One, obviously, just Elon Musk getting into the social media space. But I thought it was interesting that a couple of weeks ago, I'm going to pull this up on my screen here. Elon Musk tweeted out on Twitter saying, "Free speech is essential to a functioning democracy. Do you believe Twitter rigorously adheres to this principle?" And then he responded to that tweet saying, "The consequences of this poll will be important. Please vote carefully." That was on March 25th. And then he goes out and buys, close to 10% of Twitter, becoming the largest stakeholder. It was interesting that most people said no, they do not believe that Twitter adheres to this principle. So Elon Musk is a big believer in free speech. So am I. I know you are too, Andrew. A lot of people have been kind of tying this into, will Donald Trump come back? I think he will come back, but not now. I think Elon's not going to want to make it look like he's the one who brought Trump back for whatever reason. But I'm sure that by the time Trump starts, his campaign, they'll put him back. So there was that. It was really interesting. And then the next thing was, we're recording a week. We're recording on right now. It's on April 5th, and this will come out next Monday. But on April Fool's Day, Twitter put out, "We are working on an edit button." And so there's a lot of jokes around, or a lot of people have talked about having an edit button on Twitter, and they've talked a lot about why they don't want to have an edit button. And one of those reasons being you could tweet something, people can retweet it, whatever, and then you can go and edit what you said, and then change the context. So it makes sense to not have an edit button. And then today, Elon posts another poll, and he says, and I got it on my screen here, "Do you want an edit button?" And again, it's 70+% are yes. And it's so funny. He even spelled yes wrong. YSE.
And on wrong, or no wrong.
It says on. I didn't even realize that.
It says on, not.
And that wasn't on April Fool's. Yeah, it wasn't on April Fool's. So I can pretty much guarantee, I do not think they're going to make an edit button on Twitter. I just thought that was so funny. But I wonder now how much influence Elon Musk is going to have on Twitter, if any at all. I'm curious. I actually, when he first put out this tweet about, do you believe Twitter adheres to free speech? A lot of people were contemplating that he was going to make his own social network. And I remember I was thinking, and I wish I would have said it so that way I can take credit for predicting. I was thinking why wouldn't he just buy one? Why don't he just buy Twitter, buy something? Why would you spend all this time making one? It's so hard to make one successful, and the chances of failure are so high. Why would you start one? Just buy something out, right? And that you can improve on. So it's
you know what I find it.
Yeah.
You know what I find interesting about the free speech tweet? It's got tons of engagement, over 2 million votes.
Yeah.
And yes and no are spelled correctly. And then you go over to his edit button tweet, and it gets double the amount of votes.
Oh, so, yeah. Wow. You're right. It's at 4 million.
Wow. Almost 4.1 million. So clearly people care a whole lot more about having an edit option on he's than they do about free speech.
Right. But also he's all over the news right now for buying Twitter. So maybe everyone's going to his profile
I agree. This tweet probably was pushed out or served to that many more Twitter users because the algorithm flags that it's hot content. And I mean, he's easily one of the most biggest influencers on the planet right now. Anything he does or says takes huge visibility now. It's really interesting. 9.2%. Oh my God. And I agree with you. Why wouldn't he just consider buying one? I was thinking about this not too long ago myself, Matt, and honest to God, I was hoping that he would be one of the people advocating and building like a Web3 social media platform. Like you and I were talking about this last time briefly. Right. How cool would it be to have someone like that pioneering like a fully fledged out and because someone with his kind of visibility would be able to jumpstart a new social media platform quite easily. And if you were doing it on Web3 and all the obvious advantages to the users with using a Web3 social media platform and not having our data captured in silos the way it has been over the last how many years. I mean, it's an interesting subject. I'm shocked at this news, but I'm also, I don't know. Elon Musk is an impressive guy. He's interesting. Right. This is interesting stuff.
I heard that his share is worth like $2 billion or something like that. I think that was the number, which means that Twitter is worth like 20 billion, which he could afford it if he wanted to buy it. So it'd be interesting. I also love that Twitter's coming back because, for a few years, it's been coming back, but I think like Trump brought it back really. But for a few, I was a very early user to Twitter. I was on Twitter in like 2009, something like that. And I used to love Twitter. Twitter used to be a great place for us community, meet new people. What's unique about Twitter? It's an open social network. We used to talk about it like it's the cocktail party of the internet. Right? On Facebook, you have to add a friend, that they accept you, that sort of thing. It's weird to just like comment on someone's post who you're not friends with on Facebook. It's like weird, right? Same thing could be like on Instagram. It's just weird like that, right? On Twitter, you can reply to and respond to and engage with anybody, and it's not weird. It's not going to be awkward. It's an open invitation. It's an open party. And so that's what's unique about, and it's also all public. Right? There's not, you can make your profile private, but like for the most part, it's public, right? So there's just a lot of, it's a unique social network. It's very unique compared to all the other networks out there. They're not out there chasing features. They do a little bit of that, but a lot of the other platforms are just chasing and copying each other, in terms of features and, all that kind of stuff. Twitter's in a unique space, and, they're making some improvements, and hopefully now this is going to like encourage them to, I would love it if they were the free speech platform. I'm all about it, right? So,
yeah. Well, Dorsey's been pretty active. Well, I was just going to say something now, backtracking a little bit, because both Dorsey and Elon Musk have been very active in crypto communities. And crypto Twitter is a whole nother beast, man. Whole nother beast. Plus YouTubers love Twitter as well, because Twitter is very, very good at what YouTube is really, really weak at. So Twitter has turned into a really great complementary way to connect and message each other and tag each other on things and having discussions and debates on things, because the comment section in YouTube is not really optimized for that kind of engagement and that kind of connection and that kind of like making random friends with people on the other side of the world just because you guys have a similar interest. The comment section of YouTube isn't really great for that, but Twitter for whatever reason is it's a perfect marriage between the two platforms. And I couldn't agree. I didn't join Twitter until like 2016. I was a late adopter compared to you, Matt. But yeah, I agree. And this is, like Dorsey, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Dorsey only owns like 2%, 2 point something percent.
So I was saying he's only like, I guess he sold the shares out. So yeah, it's cool. It's cool news. I don't think he's going to sell it. Twitter stock went up. They said 5% after Elon bought in. So I don't think he's going to be selling this anytime soon. I could see him buying more of it. And hopefully he does start making, some small changes in the platform and just making it better. So it's cool.